Yo, what up? It is the 16th of February 2024, and it's currently 8:42 p.m. on a Friday. Wait, what time is it? 8:42? Uh-oh. Now, if you're familiar with my routine by now, it involves waiting out for Gulliver every day because I don't want to miss him. But I think he'll show up on the nearest cycle. I don't think he'll show up immediately if you start at 8:42. I'm gonna have my slingshot out just in case, but I probably need to burn 5 minutes rather than just, sit around and actually just wait. Let's have a look and see if Frege is doing okay. Was she sick last time? Oh, I haven't provided enough dinner for you too, and don't guess usually bring something to eat. Say, that medicine that you gave me really did the trick. I think I'm a pretty tough cookie, but that cold totally did a number on me. Thanks for helping. I don't even want to think about what could have happened. Ew, I can check my real wall. With pleasure. Helped her out of a jam. She was stuck in some jam, and I got her out. So nothing crazy going on today. I would be decorating a new room in my house based off of Pascal's set of furniture, but he didn't give me the flooring yesterday, so it sucks to suck, I guess. Anyway, hi Hugh. The other day I got a letter from Frege, but I should look to my reply. Oh, can I get you to deliver it for me? One more thing, can you get it done in 1 hour? Yeah, I think I can manage that. You do have to promise not to open the letter. I wrote unspeakable things that can only be read by one. I mean, I'm gonna be able to read it anyway, so I don't care. I've never actually done that before. I'd feel bad if I did it. I mean, naturally, you're not supposed to do it. That's a letter from Hugh. What an unexpected treat. Well, without further ado, I'm gonna read it. Well, I guess there's no harm in giving you a little peek. Hey, buddy, I wish I could write cool letters like you. My favorite pencil broke. Bye now, Hugh. I like that letter. Thank you. It was such fun to read. Please send Hugh my best. Such fun to read. It was like 4... Well, okay. I did laugh, so maybe... I guess you could argue that it was fun to read. But I'm laughing because it's like... Because, I can view Hugh as more of a spectacle, but, if that was real life, that would just be a person, and that would be messed up if I laughed at it like that then. Oh, there's something I want to say to say thanks. He's the illusion floor I promised you. Okay. I'm a real pal. I'm gonna actually quickly... I'm just gonna check out the town gate. I feel like that makes more sense, and then from there I can decide if I want to wait for Gulliver to show up or not. I already know Pascal can't show up because he already showed up just yesterday. Oh yes, and I need to check turnips. I did check them this morning, I think. Don't recall the result being particularly great. Oh, Sahara's here. Oh, here we go. We're in for a bit of a long day today as well. I have to do 4 delivery sets. Well, I can put this slingshot away then. Dun, 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 dun. So I'll just, usual water flowers delivered, and I'm gonna do the deliveries today as well then because that's on the agenda. There's a hole here, and daisy. There's a daisy and a hole. I did not mean to dig that spot. What's in here? Gyroid, it's a nebuloid. I believe I have a nebuloid. I wonder if a nebuloid would also be kind of like space themed. It kind of sounds like it, like a nebula. Like the Horsehead Nebula. What is that from? The Horsehead Nebula. I feel like that's from... I gotta Google that now. Horsehead Nebula. Oh, okay, that's a... Oh no, that's a real thing. The Horsehead Nebula is a small dark nebula in the constellation Orion. The nebula is located just to the south of Alnitak. Right, okay. I'm not just, making something up. Or better yet, referencing some really weird, obscure thing that didn't even know I was referencing. Anyway, Nebuloid is a new gyroid. I feel like I'm on fire with these new gyroids recently. I have 103 gyroids and there's 127. Like, that's viable. I wasn't thinking I would get gyroids done this year, but I might. I feel like it's on the table. Anyway, let's talk to Daisy. Guess what? I ran into Fork the other day. Bit of a prepared boy. I don't know what that means. It's like some weird. I don't know if like there's any sort of like American slang in this game. Well, yeah, this is the American version, but I mean, I think the English localization is the same for Europe, America, and Australia. And if they had to base it off one, they'd probably base it off of America. For the language at the very least. I mean, it'd be kind of weird if, you know, like, the characters, like, used particularly well-known slang, because then, you know, it'd be, kind of weird. Like, I like the idea of Animal Crossing, like, the whole world of it is sort of disconnected from our sort of human society. Like, there is a weird, like, there's a distinction made between humans and animals in this world. And in this town, in any town that you're ever in these games, you're the only human. Which always makes me wonder if there's some sort of weird, like discrimination plot or something like that, where, like, humans and animals, like, clashed, and then animals decided they didn't want to live near humans anymore. But then you would think that that would be something that would be covered in a game. Which I wouldn't expect them to, mind you, because, you know, it's not meant to be like, it's not meant to have a plot, a lore. I just, like, you know, you're, like, wondering about these sorts of things. In fact, I'd probably be more mad if that was something explicitly written in the game because of how little it actually seems to apply in reality in the game. Having fish tanks in your place helps keep it nice and cool. It's great when you're all hot and sweaty after a good workout. Yeah. Oh, I guess I've got a bit of a status report regarding my acquisition of the GameCube Animal Crossing. I have not acquired the game itself, but I have been investing in, or I guess just been getting, GameCube-related things. So I had a Wii, childhood Wii, that's one like first revision version, meaning it's got the GameCube backwards compatibility that the later versions don't have. And so all you need is a memory card. Well, you don't need a memory card, I guess, but, you know, preferably you get a memory card. Memory card, you know, an actual GameCube controller and a game, and you can play GameCube games on a Wii, which is pretty cool. And I've got everything to do that, and I've got some games. I've already got Mario Kart Double Dash was the first game, and that game's really fun, although it's very difficult, I'll say that much, for Mario Kart. Like 100cc, I struggled to get the gold trophy in that, and that's 100cc. I can't even imagine doing that on 150, but you have to do it if you want to unlock the Mirror Cup, the all Trek Cup. You have to do it. Population of Mateo's gone up, hasn't it, old mate? I don't know if it's lively or just plain noisy, but I really don't think there's room for anyone new to move in. You got that right, Pee-wee. You know these game mechanics pretty well, actually. So yeah, I am now in the position that I can get, or rather play GameCube games. And yeah, copies of the original Animal Crossing range in price. It's pretty expensive generally because, I don't know if it's a rare game. I guess it didn't sell amazingly, so there's like a supply thing with it. I don't know. I feel like it shouldn't be, like, that bad. But I feel like, you know, if I want to get it, I might get it later down the line, because I want to save my first ever playing of it till, like, a series. You'll help me make deliveries. Yeah, I will. This wallpaper was ordered by someone. Okay. my instinct was, oh, I got a chest. I was thinking of yesterday when I was trying to get the flooring from Pascal and thinking about wanting to get the chest item specifically because that's either a wallpaper or flooring. That does not matter right now. Yeah, but I've got and have played Double Dash, and there's a copy of a little game called Super Monkey Ball on the way, the original one, not 2, which is well, let's just say I've played the game before, and I'll leave it at that, but, I have the idea of having a legit copy of that game is really cool to me, and that's a game that I think is really cool, so I'm excited for that too. What do you do when you find something that's someone lost? You go to Booker. You're so right, lost stuff should get taken to Booker, but I might keep it if nobody was around and it was worth a ton of bells. Okay, Victoria? Letting your true colours show there. I haven't talked to Marina today, have I? I don't know where she went. I think that's it, other than that, though. Other than her. But yeah, I'm excited to get into GameCube. It's a very, cool system. I feel like, you know, it's sort of a, I don't want to say FOMO thing, but it's definitely like, you know, just the mere fact that you don't have it makes you want to have it. But I still think beyond that initial, like, feeling is just a good system, at least of, like, you know, its reputation at least. And, like, I've played GameCube games through other means, like I've played Sunshine, Mario Sunshine, which I think is a really cool game. I know people, like, opinions on Sunshine vary a lot, but I like it. In fact, I don't know, I always find it weird when people are like, there's a lot of discussion around Mario games, and this is something I've actually seen before, where people will say, like, okay, never mind. Where you'll have people who will literally, like, will basically praise one Mario game to high heaven, and then there's another game where they'll be like, this is absolute garbage. Like, I'm not even, like, exaggerating, mate. Like, I'm basically, like, paraphrasing here. Like, that's like how I've seen these sorts of discussions go. And I'm like, I don't know how you could be a fan of a whole, a whole series and vehemently hate an entry in it so much for, like, I don't know, because, like, Sunshine and 64 to me feel very, like, they're not similar. I won't say they're similar at all, but they're very along the same vein of, like, you know, easy to learn, hard to master controls, but, you know, very tilted towards not being open to beginners. It's fun to learn the controls in that game, and both of those games, rather, and Marina's trying to move out, which I'm not going to let it do. Yeah, people, and it, I don't know, I don't, personally, if I had to hate any Mario game, main Mario game, I'm not going to bring spin-offs into this, should I first figure out the whole thing? I feel like that's, if I had to not like any Mario game, which I kind of do, it would be Mario 3D Land. And this isn't a thing where I'm like, oh, my first playthrough is bad. No, I replayed this game, like, recently, like, last month recently, and I fully 100%ed it, and I found it just as, like, boring and not fun as I remember it. Now, okay, yeah, now the thing is that I understand that 3D Land, being a portable game, is made in a very specific way that values the idea of playing it in short bursts. Now, I will admit that when I play games, I usually don't play them in short bursts. I usually just go at it. And I will say that if there was a wrong way to play 3D Land, it would probably be that. On the other hand, I'll also say I don't think a game should have to have a time limit. I feel like if you've got a game and it becomes, like, really, ideally, if you can only enjoy a game by playing it in short bursts, then I think there's definitely still something wrong with it. I don't think that, like, do you really think the perfect game would be like, oh, but by the way, there's a caveat, you can only play it in short bursts or else it isn't fun at all? But no, that's like, I don't think that should affect it too much. And like I said, If there was a wrong way to play that game, that would still definitely be it. But, you know, yeah, that's just how I feel about that. And yeah, no, I just don't... Okay, here's the thing with Mario, is that every single Mario, from the very first, very original Super Mario Brothers, the ideal, or not the ideal way to play, but rather the peak of your play, you will be running through every level. You'll be sprinting through them as fast as possible. That's just the, like, end state of, like, skill in Mario, to me at least, is the ability to go through things quickly, which is why, you know, in the original Super Mario Brothers, playing that game and you're, like, quick is, like, the best... It feels, like, you know, it feels really good. And that game is only really at its worst when you're moving around slowly, which is why learning it and getting better at it and being able to run through levels like that is what makes that game so fun. And that's something that I think applies to every Mario game, except for 3D Land, because there's so many things about that game that are just so ridiculously slow. Your final sprint speed is not fast at all. The Tanuki Leaf, which is now the, like, main power-up of the whole game, is really slow. Like, floating with it is really slow. And there's a lot of auto-scrollers, too, which is something they, you know, they love doing more and more of in the recent Mario games. But, you know, I understand it's been a thing for a while, so I'm not gonna hark on that one too much. But, you know, and there's just a lot of things that come together to make it really slow that in the end, like, just doesn't, to me, it just doesn't feel fun to control because you can't, you know, there is no sense of that risk reward. I feel like a lot of people associate speed in a platform with something like Sonic, which is, you know, that is true, but I think Mario definitely has that element to it too. It's more unseen though because it isn't something that the series prides itself in. It's just something that I feel all of the good games happen to share. I mean, there's a reason why Mario games are so popular in speedrunning, and obviously the main element would be it's Mario, it's a popular franchise, but the games are fun to be quick in. Like, that is just, like, a natural thing about them, at least, you know, for the most part. And that's the same thing, I think, with, you know, the new Super Mario Bros. Games, is, like, those games are, like, you know, they're considered fine, which is, like, for Mario, basically the worst thing you could ever be called. But, you know, they're serviceable Mario games. And those games, you know, you can be fast, but the thing about those games is that it's really easy to be fast, which is where that risk-reward, you know, disappears, because now it isn't about the risk, it's just the reward, and the reward doesn't feel rewarding because it doesn't feel like you're risking anything. So, but those games, at the very least, what I can say about them is that you go quickly in them, that you can be quick. And that isn't something I can say as well for 3D Land, because even at your most knowledgeable of that game, you really can't go that quickly. And, like, I feel like to an extent you could bring 3D World into it as well. The thing is that it lets you pick characters, and Toad happens to be really fast, and then they ported it to Switch, and they were like, oh yeah, we should make this faster. And they just did it. If they ever bring back 3D Land in some capacity, they have to make that change to it as well, because I don't think it's unplayable or anything, but I don't think making that game faster could hurt it, is my main point. Oh, I need a lunar surface. I'll be taking that, thanks. And I'll be marking that off my list. So yeah, that's my little Mario 3D Land rant. And the thing about that game is that it's a pretty well-liked game. And so whenever I have this thing where I don't like a game, my instinct... Sorry, I've got to put my hair up for a sec. My instinct reaction is to... I Google. I literally Google, like, stuff about... Like, I Google, like, why do people like the game, or is it a good game, or, like, people trying to find people who also think... Like, I feel like I try to look to be validated thinking the way I do, which isn't probably the healthiest thing in the world. I like the fact, you know, that I can have a differing opinion on stuff and not just agree with the common voice, because that shows they actually engage things on a critical level, but not too critical that I'm just, being harsh on things. And that's the problem, is that I'm worried that instead it's just me being cynical. I feel like I'm positive about enough stuff, though, that if I really think something's bad, then I can just think it's bad. It's hard. It's really hard. Dude, it's really hard to have thoughts and deal with those. Sorry, I'm skipping through this dialogue. Let's see. Care for a cup of java to pick you up? It's 200 bells? Is that what he says? I think so. You'd think after reading this every single day for like 50 days, I would know it off by heart by now. I did drama. Like, I could remember a script like that. It was easy. You're supposed to snap like that. If I committed myself to remembering this, I'd probably be able to. Anyway, whatever you say. Then up comes 1 cup of your favorite blend spoon. There we go. The perfect temperature to bring out the flavor. 176 degrees. 1 fresh brewed cup. Drink up. Thank you. Ah, the rich aroma, that bold taste, it penetrates my very soul. Yum. Thanks. Alright, so we're gonna play with my 3 other characters now to see if I can get some more Sahara flooring and wallpaper while she's still here. Yeah, that's my little Mario... I wouldn't call it a rant, but... Yeah, but I feel that way about a couple of games. I feel that way about, I've just been playing this today, actually, because I'm trying to give it another chance. A little game called Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, which people seem to go absolutely... well, dare I say, bananas over. Like it's... I feel like there are people that call it the best 2D platform ever made, and I'd just sit there like, I don't even like this more than the other Donkey Kong Country games. Now, I haven't played Returns, so that's, I guess, an element. So, going into Tropical Freeze, I wasn't used to the Retro formula, Retro Studios being the studio that develops those games. The Retro Studios formula for Donkey Kong, I don't think that should be a factor. I think I should be able to play a game and it be good regardless of if I know the source, whatever. But, yeah, I just don't really find it fun. And I actually think it's kind of for a similar reason as 3D Land, although in a different context. Because the way that game works is that they get rid of sprinting, which, like running, like in a regular Mario game, where you hold the button and you run. And that doesn't exist anymore, but you still roll, like the classic Donkey Kong Country games. The problem is that rolling is your main way of getting speed, and I think that's what kind of messes with me, because, like, you can't really just, navigate, like, around quickly. You have to roll everywhere, which means it's more... oh, man, it's more designed for you to, what's the word? It's for you to just go in a straight line, basically, with the rolling, because it's hard to stop yourself. I just find that, like, weird. I don't know. I don't enjoy it. And beyond that, there's the fact that the 2 gimmicks, the slamming on the ground move and the pulling things off the ground move, are both very similarly, by the way, like, just sort of moves that make you stop dead in your tracks and do a thing, which is, like, really bad for, like, game flow to me. Like, it feels really like, you're, like, going through a platforming challenge, and then suddenly you're stopping dead in your tracks to pull a thing, and the thing, and most of the time it's just, like, you spawn bananas and you get the banana. Like, it feels very, like, standard and, like, I don't know, very, like, almost like Mario Maker-y, where they're like, okay, let's put a hook here, and you pull the hook, and it spawns bananas, and you collect the bananas, and then when you collect the bananas, a banana coin spawns, and then that's, like, so much of the content of those levels. And you know, I think the main thing that is good, like, outside of all of the things related to the level design, and I don't think the bosses are very good, like, the music's awesome, the visuals are awesome, the way the levels behave and appear are awesome. Like, and that's kind of what sucks about it, is that it all, like, stacks up so well in all of the, I guess, sensory ways, except for playing it. I just don't find it... Like, I feel like if that game had regular Donkey Kong Country controls, and you get rid of the slam and the like pulling mechanics, I don't think both of those add anything at all to the game, then it would probably be like perfect for me. I just like the originals better. That's just how I feel about it, and I don't think it's gonna change anytime soon. And like, just unanimously, everyone seems to think, I don't know. I feel like at this point, I've sort of established to myself that I definitely don't appreciate games in the same ways most regular people do. And I don't think that's necessarily a problem, it just makes it hard to feel validated, which, like I said, you don't need to be, but it just, I don't know, it bothers me, I guess, to not feel like I'm, being, like, it feels like I'm missing something. Oh, I do need a music room wall, that's very good. So yeah, that's that. I feel like there's another game that I was like, I was like that with 3D Land, I'm like that with Tropical Freeze, and what else? Well, there's one more thing I feel like recently that I was like, just like, I was so confused, like, I was like not getting it, like, the popularity of it. And you know, I hate being like, I want to like stuff. Like, you think I don't want to, if one thought that I didn't want to like a Donkey Kong Country game in my whole life, no, definitely not. I feel like, I'm trying to think of what it was, though. This thing that I tried and was like, I don't get how people... I don't get it. It's very annoying that I can't think of what it is. It might just be those two. Maybe I can look in my search history. Yeah, this is a normal thing people do, right? Not the action of looking in your search history, I mean looking for... Being so, like, bad at remembering stuff that you have to look it up in your own search history. Like. Is that gonna... Oh, by the way, oh yeah, I forgot to check the turnip, so I'm gonna go do that as knife real quick. Sorry that thing's at a weird angle. I've got to hold this with one hand while I scroll through my own bloody search history. Oh, Mega Man 7. I remember. It was Mega Man 7. If you're familiar with the classic Mega Man games, I feel like Mega Man 7 is considered, like, I want to say top 3, maybe? 95. And just, like, I just don't get it at all, man. I just can't get it. I played it. I beat it. I did it all. I didn't use emulated tricks. I beat Mega Man 7, the game Mega Man 7, released for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System in the year 1994, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, I just don't get Mega Man 7 at all, and I don't think I ever will. Like, the visuals. I like the visuals. I like the change in art style, but I think Mega Man himself is handled kind of poorly. I don't like high frame rate Mega Man. It messes with my head, and I know it's like that this is a frame rate thing. I'm sure it is, but he just feels slower. I don't know. And honestly, I don't remember disliking, in particular, the level design, but, like, the final boss rush I hated. Yeah, I was very... And the final Wily capsule is just ridiculously hard. And I don't mind it being challenging, I just... Personally, in my Mega Man, which this entire topic of conversation is going to sound so bloody foreign to anyone who hasn't played these games before, I like it in Mega Man when the boss rush and the final Wily fights are separated in between different levels. My favorite Mega Man game, being Mega Man 3, does that, and I like that it does that. Mega Man 2, however, which is the most popular one, does not, which gives me the impression that that's the system they'd rather use because it's the one that Mega Man 2 did, and if Mega Man 2 was a woman and Capcom was a singular man, then I'm pretty sure Capcom would have a restraining order by Mega Man 2 from how much Capcom is in love with Mega Man 2, and I'm pretty sure Mega Man 2 at this point is not reciprocating. All that to say, actually, yeah, I don't know all that to say. I don't like Mega Man 7 that much. I wouldn't even say, like, I don't even think it's at, like, the bottom of my, like, personal list. I just don't think it's that great. I don't know. And it isn't just that people are, like, neutral on it. It's like that people love Mega Man 7. I don't know. I think, mind you, that a lot of the stuff they did was cool. I'm not huge about the classic Mega Man games, including, like, exploration stuff, but, like, it's not necessarily a bad addition, I guess. And the way that you can use boss abilities throughout the levels to change the way you play them, I think that's really cool, and that's something that Mega Man X also did. But, like, I don't know. I just didn't... There's a lot of things about Mega Man 7 I like, but I don't think I can say that I think it's as good as people seem to think it is. I don't know. Mega Man Classic in particular is very weird, because, you know, in a similar vein to Pokemon, there's this sort of bias where the one that you've played the most is likely going to be your favorite, which isn't true for me with Pokemon, because my favorite's Crystal, and I've played more in a lot of other Pokemon games, but point being, usually the one you played the most is your favorite, but my Mega Man 3 story was I was playing all of them in order, which is not a very great idea, mind you, but I was doing it anyway. And the first time I played Mega Man 3, I recall not liking it that much at all. I remember liking Mega Man 2 way more. But then one thing led to another, and I decided to replay it, like, a while later, and I, like, liked it, like, a lot. I used like so much in that bloody sentence, but... yeah, I just enjoyed it way more, and then I, you know, played it again, and this is the whole thing that I do, where now I've played it so many times. I haven't played it so many times, but I've definitely played it more than any other Mega Man game before, that's definitely for sure. And I really, really like it, and there's a lot of things that, like, are hard to articulate, especially with Mega Man, because it's a very, like, touchy series that it's hard to, like, even, like, I don't know, it's very difficult to be objective with, this does not matter, I've got both of these, be objective with Mega Man. But it's a series I really like, at least the classic games. I've now played all of them, with an asterisk. I played almost all of Mega Man 11, got to the end, and stopped. And I haven't played it again since. Mega Man 11... I don't think it's very good at all. It just doesn't feel any at all correct to me. I don't know. I haven't played it. It's been too long since then I can even remember my specific problems with it. I just remember really, like, not, you know, seeing it. I actually do like the way they handle the boss weapons, though, because the selection of them means that you're able to switch between them really easily. But yeah, Mega Man is very difficult to, like, I don't know, it's so hard to rank them. Personally, my, like, thing is, like, I've seen opinions that, like, oh, 1, 2, and 3 were, like, you know, fine, but then 4, 5, and 6, they really... Like, once again, this is gonna sound like complete gibberish, like, complete nonsense, but, you know... Yeah, 4, 5, and 6, they, like, really stepped up the game, and, like, they brought something... And I'm kind of, like, the opposite, where, like, 1, 2, and 3 all evolved upon a singular formula and perfected it, in my opinion, with Mega Man 3. And then 4 is, like, okay, it's more Mega Man. And now there's the Charge Shot, which I'm personally not a huge fan of the Charge Shot, but that doesn't really affect my opinion of the game that much. And then, you know, Mega Man 5, which I really can't remember much about. And then Mega Man 6 was like, sure, they bring in this the Rush armor, which is a cool gimmick, but it felt to me that the extent of their, I guess, evolution of the formula had finished by the end of Mega Man 3, and then 4, 5, and 6 just sort of, like, exist. And, like, that's, you know, obviously in isolation. If you're going to play 4 first, for example, you're probably going to think it's, like, you know, spectacular, the same way that I really like Mega Man 3, but I feel like, I don't know, you can't shake that feeling, you know, that you just sort of, don't get it. I don't know. Yeah, Mega Man 4, and that is once again a thing that I have played Mega Man 4, specifically 4. Actually, 5 I remember liking when I first played 5, but I recall something I took away from it, that it's very easy. I think 5 might be the easiest Mega Man game, like, of all of them. And that isn't a bad thing, but I don't know, you feel like if the series is going to go on forward, wouldn't it get harder to make it a bit more interesting? The level gimmicks were interesting in that level, though. They did do stuff to make those levels individually interesting. I actually think then okay, here's my ranking of specifically the NES Mega Man games, because I don't have too much to say about the later ones. Bottom is probably Mega Man, I want to say 1. I like Mega Man 1. I don't think it's horrible, but I definitely, you know, it's Mega Man 1. If you played Mega Man 1 and then played Mega Man 2, you know why people don't like Mega Man 1. It's the Sonic 1 thing. It's just, it's tripping over itself. And then Mega Man 2, I'm ranking them, okay. So second worst of 6, I guess, so this is the 5th placing one, would be Mega Man 4. I don't think Mega Man 4 is interesting on its own. And then, I'm gonna say Mega Man 5 next. Then 6, 2, and 3. I want to say 6 is better than 5, and then 2 is better than 6, and then obviously I like 3 more than all of them. The thing about that ranking is that's going to completely change, and depending on who you are, and I can't even say in my head that that's, like, my objective ranking of them. It isn't objective at all. But I don't think I could make an objective ranking of Mega Man. I don't think I have it in my, like, DNA. Did that say Pally or Blathers? I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna talk to them. But yeah, I don't think I could... Okay, here's my Mega Man recommendation. Start with 2, then, if you like 2, then move on to 3. If you like 3, you can either keep playing those 2 games in perpetuity, or you can go and play the rest of the series. That's what I think. And then 1 is like a little fun thing you can beat pretty simply. It's not too hard of a game. I've seen people say Mega Man 1's one of the hardest. It's really not. Outside of the boss rush being kind of difficult, Yellow Devil, super overrated. Not that difficult at all. And then, like, Mega Man 5's a good... You'd think it's like, oh, it's a good beginner one, but I don't know if I'd recommend starting with it, because I don't think it's the best first impression for the series. I still think 2 is... Especially because a lot of things about that game are just presented very well. And while I was blabbering on about, a sand lot is a new carpet from Sahara. I have profited 3 new Sahara items today. I am only missing the following Sahara items. The boxing ring mat and the closed road, both of which are flooring, and singularly in the wallpaper category, the Western Vista. Outside of those 3 Sahara items, I'm done. I'm done with Sahara. So, hopefully within the next couple of visits, I'll actually be finished with Sahara's items. And beyond that, once I get past Pascal's ship deck and then the next Acorn Festival, I'm done with wallpaper and flooring, which is, like, so weird to me. The idea that I could just be done with wallpaper and flooring. These have been, like, just have these empty, like, missing, these things for so long, and now I'm gonna be almost finished with them. Like, I think I'm gonna finish gyroids this year, wallpaper and flooring this year, definitely umbrellas this year. And then, okay, pipeline, realistically, what I'm not going to be able to finish this year is collections. The furniture, no way. The clothing, probably not. And the headgear, also, I don't think so. But other than that, I'm pretty close. And I'd be pretty content if by the end of this year I'm sort of like kind of done with the game. That I've achieved that much. Like, that to me would be great. So that's gonna be it for today. Jesus, this one was long. Oh my god. Talked a lot about a bunch of nonsense that people don't care about. I hope you like Mega Man, because if you don't, then you probably had no idea what I was talking about. I will see you tomorrow.